listening to the One Man Show Network. Welcome to the MMA Fight Picks podcast with your host, Aaron Weinbaum.
Oh my gosh. Welcome back to the MMA Fight Picks podcast. I am your host, Aaron Weinbaum, and we finally have some fights to pick. And I'm going to tell you, there's not a fight on here I'm not excited about. I'm not sure how many days it's been, but I'm guessing it's been about 47 years since the last UFC event. At least that's how I feel. A lot has happened since then. Luckily I got my hair cut, the day before everything shut down where I'm from, so I'm not too shaggy. But I did a little stand-up comedy. It's virtual stand-up comedy, but, still stand-up comedy nonetheless. And I feel like there's more that's happened, but not so much. And but I am so excited to finally pick some fights. We got UFC 249. As of right now, the event is happening. Ferguson versus Gaethje takes place this Saturday, May 9th at the VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena in Jacksonville, Florida. So that just means everyone in Florida is crazy, and I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So if you are on the Periscope, please feel free to chime in and help me pick some fights. And I think I'm on YouTube as well. I haven't done this in a while. I'm not real happy with my experience so far with Restream, but I'm trying something a little different. I'm using my phone actually as an upload length until Ecamm comes out with their own native streaming, multi-streaming, which is, I understand, to be coming very, very soon. So let's get to it here. Very first fight on the card, looking good. Light heavyweight Ryan Spann versus Smiling Sam Alvey. Whole lot of green here for Ryan Spann. I get him confused with Brian Stan, which I'm sure everyone does. But, the list here is not all that impressive, except for his last two. He beat Little Nog, Antonio Rogerio Nogueira, and then Devin Clark, 1 KO, 1 submission. Sam Alvey, though, not had the best of luck lately. I got lots of people coming on in Periscope. Feel free to help me pick some fights for UFC 249 because it's so exciting. I'm so excited. I can't help it. So let's look at Smiling Sam here. It looks like 3 losses in a row. He, of course, lost to Little Nog, Jimmy Crute, and Kidson Abreu, all 3 at once here. And I feel like Smiling Sam Alvey hasn't been doing as much smiling lately. He definitely seems to be kind of embracing the anger. Maybe that's what he needs to do. But, man, I don't know. I feel like this Ryan Spann kid's kind of an up-and-comer, and as much as I love Smiling Sam, I love the lifestyle, I love the positivity, but I'm sorry. I got to go with Ryan Spann on this one. Next up, 145-pound matchup between Bryce Mitchell and Charles Rosa. Charles Rosa, I believe, a very accomplished chef. I've heard him talking before. So yeah. Uh-oh, something happened here. Oh gosh. Oh, good. I'm still online. I just had a scare there. Sorry, this is what happens when we record live. Anyway, taking a look at Bryce here. Gosh, whole lot of wins for this kid lately. I think the only time he's lost ever was a drill in the pants when, that's not so cool, but ouch, 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 ouch. You can look up some bloody, gory-ass pictures online if you want to see what that is. Excuse me. So, yeah, let's take a look at his last several fights here. Matt Sales, he got a twister submission that he learned from YouTube. It doesn't get any cooler than that. Before that, a decision win over Bobby Moffitt, decision win over Tyler Diamond. Man, just goes on and on and on and on. This kid is a winner. I like him. I like hearing him talk. I hope he gets camo shorts. I don't think he's going to get camo shorts, but I would certainly like to see that. And then Charles Rosa. Let's take a look here. He did beat Manny Bermudez. A verbal submission and armbar. Yeah, I don't remember that fight. I do remember him losing to Shane Burgos, and that was way back in 2017, though. So not the most active young man here. Just fought once a year since 2016. Didn't fight at all in 2018. So, man, I like Bryce. I think he's on a tear lately. And I want to say that hopefully he gets camo shorts and that he gets it. He's going to win. So, yeah. Next up, I don't know if I'm still on Periscope or not because something looks like it happened, but it's all right. It's all right. Vincent Luca and Nico Price. All right, let's take a look at Nico here real quick. There he is. Nico had that nasty up kick against James Vick last time. Let's see here. Before that, he loses to Jeff Neal. Beats Tim Means. He's kind of an every other guy fighter here. Vincent Luque. Let's take a look at him, though. Just lost to Stephen Thompson, but that was back in November 2019. Before that, he's getting wins over Mike Perry, Derek Krantz, Brian Barberina. But I like Nico here. You know, I mean, it was sick what he did to James Vick in that up kick. And, oh, good. It looks like Periscope's back online. Man, I don't know. I think this is Nico's time. So this is crazy. And this next fight coming up, yeah, Nico's going to win. This next fight coming up, though, this is still the undercard, folks. This is what's crazy. Uriah Hall and Jacare Souza. I don't know about this fight because it's been rescheduled a few times now. Because no one knew when this card was going to take place. And I know that Uriah Hall has the problems making the weight. So I don't know how far into this weight cut he was in. I don't know how far he's had to pull back, and start over again. But he is, all of a sudden, he's won 2 in a row. Antonio Carlos Jr., Bevan Lewis. He was stopped in 2018 against the perennial number 1 contender here, Paulo Costa, if he ever does fight. And they got Jacare, who recently tried to come up to 205. I thought he did well, and this was Jan Blachowicz. I thought he tied Jan up pretty good, but he didn't get the nod, and I thought he probably should have gotten the nod. But it is what it is. For that, he loses the decision to Jack Hermanson. Had that nasty kick against Chris Weidman. Ended up, where Weidman was winning that fight. That was kind of crazy. So I don't know. I do think Jacare does win this fight. I just think he's got the mental composure that Uriah Hall does not seem to have. So we'll see. We'll see. Next up, the karate hottie, Michelle Waterson against Carla Esparza. And I'm trying to have a little trouble with Carla's info here. But this is another good fight. Everyone always counts Michelle Waterson out, and that's usually when she comes back and wins. Taking a look at her first. Yeah, so she just lost to Joanna Jędrzejczyk back in October. Unanimous decision. Joanna really took it to her. Michelle just tough and hung in there. For that, 3 wins in a row, Carolina Kowalkiewicz. I had never said that name. Felice Herrera, Courtney Casey. And then Carla kind of coming back too. She was the champion. People forget she won that Ultimate Fighter and became the champ. But she's got, she had the 2 losses there. Claudia Gadelha, split decision, but she did get stopped by Tatiana Suarez back in September 2018. But has come on strong here. April and September of last year. Beats Virna Jandarova and Alexia Grasso. I hate to count Michelle Waterson out, but she's not the biggest girl for this weight class. She used to fight at 105 pounds, and I think that Carla Esparza is probably going to out-grapple her and win this fight. Next up, man, still the undercard. This is crazy. Alexei Oleinik, Fabricio Werdum. I picked Oleinik to beat Alistair Overeem and Walt Harris, and he disappointed me both times. Both times he got KO'd, but he did sneak a win off here in January against Maurice Green. And I don't even remember that fight being made. I don't remember picking for it. Maybe I did, and maybe it happened, so I don't know. But this is very, very interesting. Werdum hasn't fought in a few years due to some banned substances. I'm not remembering exactly what it is, but it's been a couple years. So let's take a look, shall we? Yeah, just lost to, it was Alexander Volkov back in 2018, so that's the last time he fought. It hasn't been quite 2 years. For that, he was on a little bit of a good run there. Marcin Tybura, Walt Harris. I don't know how he's going to do. Lennox, he doesn't come to play around. Both these guys are grapplers. I just don't know. I don't know what a post USADA Werdum's going to look like. And I'm going to pick the upset here. I think it would be the upset. As smooth as Werdum is, I think Alexia Olenek for the upset. Ah, man, a rematch. Donald Cerrone, Anthony Pettis, the difference is they're not cutting weight. They're fighting 170 pounds. They're going to be the freshest guys on the card, okay, for sure. But, man, all of a sudden, after a 3-fight win streak, we're on a 3-fight losing streak with Donald Cerrone. A fight he was arguably winning against Tony Ferguson when he just got his nose broke and he blew it, and then he blew his nose and his eye blew up. Crazy. Then he gets knocked out by Justin Gaethje. Then he gets shoulder knocked out by Conor McGregor in a fight he said he didn't want to be there. And this is my problem. He didn't want to be there. This is probably going to be the biggest fight he'll ever get, ever again. He'll never get another crack at Conor, ever. He'll never be in that big of a fight again, ever. And if you can't get up for that fight, how are you going to get up for Anthony Pettis in a rematch? I don't know. Pettis folded him up before. And Pettis not having the greatest luck either, He did have that stop of Stephen Wonderboy Thompson at welterweight, but then gets kind of beaten up by Nate Diaz, gets rear naked choked by Carlos Diego Ferreira, rather. I mean, how impressive was that kid? That kid just manhandled him, man. It was crazy. Ragdolled him, choked him out. Whatevs. But I'm thinking, man, I don't know what Donald Cerrone's going to show up, and I do think that Anthony Pettis has his number. He does look better at 170 pounds. That whole deal with Nate Diaz, apparently he had cut his hand before that and fought anyway. So, I don't know. But I'm going to tell you, I do think he's going to win this fight as well. And I see some people jumping on Periscope again. Feel free to help me pick fights. UFC 249. Yeah, I think Pettis comes back and he beats him again. And, I hate doing that. I hate picking against Donald, and I love him. But we'll see. All right, this one hurts because how in the world you got some OGs fighting here, and then they're all on the undercard. Every fight up till now has been on the undercard. And then the main event, or the main card rather, Greg Hardy, and Jorgen De Castro. I mean, so you're bumped from the main card for riding jet skis and skydiving, but you allegedly, you beat up a girl, and you're off the main card. You're on the main card rather. You're not on the undercard. You get rewarded. Crazy. Donald Cerrone making that walk more than anyone in UFC history. He's on the undercard. Anthony Pettis on the cover of a Wheaties box. On the undercard. Greg Hardy. Main card. Messed up. There's so many things that are messed up with this, but whatevs. You know what? Let's take a look at Greg Hardy's little record here. It was made my heart happy to see Alexander Volkov beat him unanimously. Before that, a unanimous decision overturn to Ben Sassoli because he takes an inhaler in between rounds. Beats Juan Adams, who I had really high hopes for. Juan Adams in that fight. Beats Dmitry Smelov. illegal knee to Alan Crowder. All right, I don't know. But here's the problem. Yorgan De Castro on the main card is the only fighter here fighting for a Wikipedia page and a Twitter check mark. So, kind of crazy. He did kind of sneak a win, though, against Justin Tafa. And this was back in October this year. And he is also a Dana White Contender Series standout. The guy's never lost. He's fought for organizations I've never heard of. CES, NEF. I don't know what that is. Oh, no. I just got froze on the internet, but we're going to go back to it here in just a second. Ah, bummer. Bummer. So we'll go back to where I was here in just a second here. Of course, the live part does not get stopped. So we got that going for us, which is nice. So, all right, go back to it. So back to Yorgan De Castro. Sorry, the stream got interrupted here. It's part 2. Yorgan De Castro, never been beaten. I like to think I like him in this fight, and I think he upsets. It's not even an upset. He beats Greg Hardy nicely, handily, whatever you want to call it. So we shall see. Jeremy Stevens, Calvin Kattar, man, oh man. I like this one too. I do. Because these guys are going to bring it. How in the world has Jeremy been on a skid since 2018? I don't know. The way he came back though in the Uriah Rodriguez fight, that last round, impressive. I loved it. But it really has not won a fight since February 2018. Then Calvin Kattar, I believe is he the Boston guy? I think he's from Boston. Yes, he is. Just lost to Zabit Magasharipov back in November 2019. Before that, he's got wins over Ricardo Lambas, Chris Fishgold. I love Jeremy Stevens, man. I do. I think he fights with a lot of heart. But in the end, I think that Calvin Kattar takes it. Golly, somebody's going to get murdered in this fight or what? But Francis Ngannou and Jairzinho Rosenstreich. Is it Piggy Boy? Is that his nickname? I got to look this up again. It doesn't say. I knew I heard it somewhere. Gosh darn. Oh, yeah, Biggie Boy. I said Piggy Boy. Sorry, dude. Biggie Boy. But let's take a look at Francis, man. Been on an absolute tear lately. He had that little skid there to Stipe, the champ, no shame in that. Derek Lewis, it is what it is. Man. But then he just beats the brakes off of Curtis Blades in a fight I thought he would lose. Beats Cain Velasquez. It says due to knee injury. It was due to getting knocked backwards. And then KOs Junior Dos Santos. And then you got Rosenstreich. In a fight he was losing, the last few seconds of the 5th round, splits Alistair Overeem's lip in half, wins the fight. Gosh. And then he KOs Andre Arlovski, Alan Crowder, Junior Albini. Knockout. I think he had one split decision, but this is not Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou, I think, we saw what happened when he was up against a seasoned striker like Alistair Overeem. I think we'll see the same thing except for, unlike Overeem, I believe that Ngannou will finish the job and beat Jairzinho Rosenstreich. Next up, this is the crazy one. Henry Cejudo and Dominic Cruz were supposed to be having Jose Aldo, but I don't know if he couldn't get out of Brazil, couldn't train, do what? I get it. It happened. But man, risky fight for Dominic after like 4 years, so I don't know how this is going to play out either. Let's take a look here. Marlon Moraes beats him. TJ Dillashaw knocks him out. That's down at flyweight, all his other fights were at flyweight. So it was only, I take that back. He did fight once before at 135 pounds, but he KO'd Marlon Moraes, man. And really came back and looked strong. But Dominic, gosh, we haven't seen him in so long. There's no such thing as ring rust with Dominic, It's been, so this will be almost 3.5 years since we've seen him. Kind of crazy to think that. Of course, his last fight was Cody Garbrandt. And, the funny thing is, unless Dominic loses somehow, we will never see him fight Cody Garbrandt again. That was just a thing. But, then he's got wins over Uriah Faber, TJ Dillashaw, Mitsugaki. That is his other comeback fight where he looked great. So I don't think ring rust is going to be the factor. I think age is, this is over 3 years of fighting. I think he's training smarter now. He's lifting heavier weights from what I understand. But I think it's Henry's time. And as much as Henry runs his mouth, I think that he's going to take this fight. I think he's going to beat the great Dominick Cruz. All right. The main event of the evening. I thought I'd get some more Periscope peoples, but I'm not so sure. Chael Sonnen, he just tweeted when Tony Ferguson turned 18, his parents moved out. Funny guy, Chael. Funny guy. All right, Tony Ferguson. I don't think he's lost in the UFC except for Michael Johnson. Let me double check that real quick. Yeah, Michael Johnson, 2012. This guy has not lost in a long, long time. His last few fights, beats Don Cerrone, beats Anthony Pettis. Both of them were, stoppages, but one's a doctor stoppage, one his corner stopped it with Anthony Pettis because he broke his hand. Beats Kevin Lee, triangle, unanimous decision against RDA. Man. But then there's Gaethje. He's the unknown because he has had some losses in recent memory. I mean, it hasn't been since 2018, but he did lose to Dustin Poirier. Before that, he lost to Eddie Alvarez. So interesting here. He does have that win against Michael Johnson. Huh? That was kind of one of those other slugfests that he came up on top of, but those fights he lost were slugfests against Eddie Alvarez and Dustin Poirier, but then he's sick. The way he knocked out James Vick was sick. Knocked out Barboza. Knocked out Cerrone. That was sick too. And here's the thing. And normally I would pick Tony Ferguson all day long, but there's something weird that he did, and that was a couple weeks ago. He made weight for a fight that didn't exist. Now, you talk to guys. I know Tony Ferguson is a different animal, but you can only walk through so many bullets, and I think this weight cut's a thing. The fact that he did it when he didn't have to do it, he depleted his body when he didn't have to deplete it, that takes a toll on you, and I think nobody's going to talk about this. Nobody's going to mention it. Everyone's like, oh, it's Tony Ferguson. It's not a big deal. He does this mental shit all the time, and he does cartwheels and spars with bouncy balls and this and that. But I'm going to pick the upset here. I pick Gaethje to win this fight because Tony Ferguson prematurely cut weight. And that's it. Those are the MMA Fight Picks coming at you for this Saturday, May 9th. And I apologize if you tried to comment in Periscope and it didn't work because it doesn't look like they're coming through. And this restream experiment is about done with me. So, until next time, it's the MMA Fight Picks podcast. I'm Aaron Weinbaum, and shalom.
Please remember to support the podcast by visiting the affiliate links on AaronSaysWhat.com.